The sad news this morning that football legend Diego Maradona has passed away at the age of 60 after a heart attack. Let's bring in Socceroos legend and football commentator Craig Foster, who joins us now from Sydney. Craig, good morning to you. What was your reaction to this very sad news?
Oh, well, he had been sick for a little while. Of course, recently he had a brain hemorrhage and had surgery only a few weeks ago. So people knew that he was really unwell. In fact, in recent years, of course, his health hasn't been great. In large part because of what he became known for. His excesses off the field were as grand as his brilliance and his extraordinary gifts on the field. So the football community, which is vast around the world, is very sad and will be in mourning today. So our thoughts are with everyone in Argentina. I mean, he was a figure of almost divine nature. In fact, there is a church of Diego Maradona in Argentina, funnily enough, but it does show you the level of adulation that he endured. At one point when he was at his peak, he was probably the most famous human being on the planet, and he never quite got to grips with it, and that's why many of us loved him, is because he was a poor kid from the slums on the outskirts of Buenos Aires, who went to the very top of the world's largest and most prominent sport, and never really changed. He was a fighter against the system, and he was the people's champion until his final day.
Well, what made him so grand on the field? How did he become the golden boy? What skill set did he possess that very, very few have had?
Well, importantly, he played in an era, as we all reminisce and re-watch and relive incredible moments of his career. He played in an era where there was very little protection for the gifted players. What is outruled now is the tackle from behind, for example, was still a part of the game then. And he suffered some horrific injuries during his career and played on in the second half of his career virtually on painkillers. But he had extraordinary gifts of goal scoring. He was a maestro of dribbling. His foot, when he came into the Argentinian national team as just a young 18, 19-year-old, the great players even of that era in the late 70s, early 80s, said that he could do with his foot what most people couldn't do with their hand. We say that his left foot was touched by God. And he saw the game in extraordinary ways, but he was also an amazing leader and competitor. So he turned football into art, and he was physically strong, but he was an incredible competitor. And at a time when the top defenders in the world were being paid extraordinary sums of money to try to stop him, no one throughout his entire career was able to find a way to do so. He was just too good.
Have you seen anyone in the modern era match his ilk at all?
Well, we compare him often to Lionel Messi, and trying to resolve who's the greatest in the game, whether it's Pele, Diego, or Maradona. Principally, those three is impossible, really. For those of us who lived through the era of Diego, it's really sad because he brought so much inspiration to a country. To, I think, people who are underprivileged as well all around the world really identified with him and with his constant battles with his own demons, and his flaws, his fallibility, and he represented that kind of. Sorry, even my dog's excited about it, and he represented all of those who dreamt of going to the top of the world, and when he got there, he never changed his own internal nature. And in the end, that was one of the things that brought him down. But Lionel Messi is an extraordinary player in a very different era, but as yet the comparison is difficult because he hasn't been able to do what Diego did, and that is lead his country as captain in '86 around the period of the Falklands War, and an incredibly politically charged time to lead his country with. It's difficult even for Australians to understand the level of expectation that it brings from a country that has football running through its veins like the Argentines. For him to then go and lead his country to lift the FIFA World Cup it's amazing, and so he'll always be remembered.
Oh, he certainly will, and the tributes are flowing in. Craig Foster, thank you so much for your time this morning. It's been wonderful to reminisce with you about the great Diego Maradona.
Thanks, my pleasure.